Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us on this Tuesday. I'm Jurnee Taylor. We're going to head straight over to the weather department where we have meteorologist Nathan Scott. And Nathan, we're dealing with all kinds of conditions. It's warm outside, it's windy, and we could also break a record today, right?
Good afternoon, Jurnee. Yes, it is unseasonably warm out there once again. The temperature is well above average for this time of year. Remember, this is late February, ladies and gentlemen. It's 76 right now in Little Rock, 82 in Clinton. The clouds are on the increase, though, so that will stop the temperatures from climbing up too far. But I do think we'll see the numbers climb up into the 80s in many areas, all because we got that wind, and that wind is whipping across the region. About 15 to 25 mile per hour winds from the south-southwest, but gusts, there you see, 40 mile per hour gusts have been reported in Little Rock. So we have a wind advisory in effect for a large part of Arkansas just because those gusts could be as high as 40 to 45 miles per hour. And that's why there's a lot of burn bans in effect. So even if you're not under a burn ban, just don't burn today. It's just not smart because things can get out of control very quickly. Radar loop does show rain happening, which you think is over west and southwest Arkansas, but that's not reaching the ground. It's primarily just clouds moving in. Temperatures today, upper 70s to lower 80s, but big changes are on the way. A strong cold front marches its way through the state while you're sleeping tonight. It will have the potential of producing some showers and storms, and there could be some strong storms in parts of the state. I'll let you know more about that and how much cooler it's going to get behind this front coming up.
All right, Nathan, thank you. A search continues this afternoon as Benton police work to locate an inmate who escaped from the Rivendell Behavioral Facility. Police say 28-year-old Joseph Alexander got out around 8:15 last night. Alexander was in custody on a battery charge after an altercation with police. Officials say he is considered dangerous and urge everyone to stay away and call police if you happen to see him. Meanwhile, fire officials want to remind you to be cautious as wildfires begin to spark up across the state. Crews in North Little Rock responded to 7 grass fires across the city yesterday, but it didn't start there. Officials say there have been more than 137 fires since February 1st, which spanned more than 4,300 acres. With spring fire season off to an early start, burn bans are popping up all over the state. Now here's a look at the latest map showing which counties are under a burn ban. More than 20 counties now under a strict burn ban. Again, officials say you should be extra careful during times like these, as something as simple as throwing a cigarette out of your car window could start a fire. From tackling fires and saving lives to honoring the people who do just that. 4 firefighters were honored in Benton yesterday. This after they jumped into action to save a woman after she hydroplaned off Highway 70 into flood waters. As a result of their actions, their chief presented them with special recognition and says doing something like this was something he's most proud of.
Had it not been for the actions of our firefighters that showed up that night, I honestly feel like there would have been a loss of life in the accident. Honestly, the guys wait 28 years to receive some type of citation like this, so I'm very honored to have been able to do it.
The awards were given out at the start of the city council meeting Monday night. Well, back in the metro area, engineers are strapping up their gear to ensure safety of the Broadway Bridge. Year-round, crews take time to inspect underneath every bridge to make sure things are intact. Yesterday, they dropped hundreds of feet to do just that for the bridge connecting Little Rock to North Little Rock. The reason behind the inspection, they say, to prevent problems that could shut down traffic for hours.
On a structure like this, the thing we're most concerned for is a crack. So that's why we get up close to floor beams and tie girders like this.
If engineers notice a problem, they work to get it fixed as soon as possible. Preparations continue as we inch closer to April 8th, which is the total eclipse. With thousands expected to flock to the natural state for the major event, Central Arkansas Water is now working to keep up with the overflow in traffic.
Keeping all the tanks filled all around the community, just to ensure that, if demand is really truly high of all these people coming in and using water at the hotels and wherever they're staying and seeing a little more than what we normally see on April the 8th.
Doug Shackelford says they plan to run the pumps to ensure everyone has plenty of water and adds the hours of preparation should result in things running smoothly. With tensions still at an all-time high overseas, President Biden says a ceasefire could be on the way that would free dozens of hostages. Ian Lee takes you overseas with the latest.
The Jordanian Air Force delivers desperately needed aid to Gaza, the largest airdrop to date. But it isn't enough to feed the people on the ground. In the north, Palestinians struggle to fill pots with food. This man says, have mercy and help the children who are suffering and can't find anything to eat. Just a little food brings joy and relief for Gazans, if only for a moment. The United Nations says the amount of aid reaching the territory dropped by 50% this month, while months of fighting have killed roughly 30,000 people, according to the Hamas-run Ministry of Health.
The level of destruction is unimaginable.
The UN is calling for a ceasefire. After taping the Late Show with Seth Meyers, President Biden hinted one could start as early as next week.
My national security advisor tells me that we're close. We're close. It's not done yet. And my hope is by next Monday, we'll have a ceasefire.
While on the ground in Gaza, Israel continues its hunt for Hamas and hostages. More than 100 remain captive, including 6 Americans. A ceasefire could see dozens released, along with Palestinian prisoners from Israeli jails. Ian Lee, CBS News, London.
Meanwhile, President Biden is hoping to convince congressional leaders to keep the U.S. government funded. The clock is ticking for Congress to pass a funding bill. If they fail to do so by March 1st, multiple federal agencies could run out of money. Now, along with funding to keep the lights on, U.S. leaders are calling for Congress to approve more aid for Ukraine. Discussions are also happening over a need for a border agreement. Ahead of today's primary in Michigan, 2024 Republican presidential candidate Nikki Haley vowed to keep up the fight against her party's frontrunner, former President Donald Trump. So far, he has won every GOP primary, and he's expected to add Michigan to the list tonight. Meanwhile, President Biden is facing backlash from voters who oppose his handling of the Israel-Hamas conflict. Now, activists are pushing supporters to vote uncommitted in protest.
If a sizable portion of the Democratic electorate here in Michigan votes uncommitted during the primary, that will be a 5-alarm fire for the White House.
Later this week, both Trump and Biden will head to the southern border. Meanwhile, Haley has a scheduled rally today in Colorado, part of a multi-state tour ahead of next week's Super Tuesday. In Hot Springs later today, the Arkansas National Guard is inviting veterans to All Services Roll Call. The event is a chance for vets to learn more about different services and benefits tailored to their needs. They'll have free food and information booths from various support organizations. It starts at 6 p.m. at the Hot Springs Junior Academy. A new report is revealing the annual list of top cars, a look at which makes and models are among the best.
And our true taste of spring is about to come to an abrupt end going into tonight. A strong cold front will plow its way through Arkansas, and this will bring in some much cooler temperatures. Along with that, we do have the chance that there could be a shower storm. Let you know the severe weather threat coming up next.